Welcome to the True Nosh Kitchen. I am Renee and it's 1 o'clock on a Sunday and it's not raining, so it's kind of exciting. I'm going to take a walk after I teach today's class, and I'm very excited to share this recipe. I love this recipe because it's full of everything that I love. So we're going to use some chocolate, avocado, and coconut milk, and we're going to make a really nice afternoon dessert. So we have some participants. I'm just going to wait for a few people to sign on. Let me see who's here. I think there should be Alessia. We had class yesterday, and let me just see who is registered for today's class. So those of you who don't know me, I am Renee, and I own True Nosh. We're located in Vancouver, BC, Canada, and yeah, welcome to my kitchen. I'm also a registered dietitian. I have a background in long-term care, as well as cancer treatment, as well as working in short-term care as a registered dietitian in hospitals in New York. Yes, I did my education in New York, and I lived in also California. That's where I did my undergraduate in biology before moving on to New York to do clinical nutrition. And then I worked in the industry of restaurants, and I became a cook and then a sous chef in New York. And I loved it, and this is how I learned so many things about food. And then I decided it wasn't enough, so I wanted to learn more about food, and I went to Europe to do some farming. So I did the WWOOFing program. If you guys don't know, it's the Worldwide Organization of Organic Farmers. And then after that, I traveled to Hong Kong, did about 3 years there. Learned a lot about Chinese cooking and Southeast Asian cooking before moving back to Vancouver, where I started the True Nosh company. So today is an afternoon dessert class, but I'm known to be the queen of not using sugar in my cooking. It doesn't mean that you guys don't need to use sugar. You can use sugar in this recipe, so I'll tell you how much sugar that you're going to use in this recipe. So let's talk about some of the ingredients. Oh, and I also want to let you guys know to stay tuned after the cooking class, because we have Nicole that she is going to teach a wonderful, beautiful yoga class after this cooking session. So Nicole from LeClaire Wellness, also in Vancouver, she will do a yoga class with all of you who's watching. So please stay tuned to enjoy the afternoon with me and Nicole. Okay, so I think we should start and talk about the ingredients that we have today. Coconut milk and coconut cream is very common in the grocery store, so you can buy either one, coconut cream or coconut milk. So the difference between these two ingredients is one is a lot thicker. Okay, so the cream is going to be more like a cream cheese consistency. So those who are vegan and want to find a cream cheese substitute, the cream is the way to go. Okay, so this just says cream over here. And then this one is coconut milk, which is a very, also a thicker consistency. It's going to look more like a glue, kind of a white glue consistency, but it's definitely thinner than the coconut cream. Either one works with a recipe. If you did buy the cream, you just need to thin it out with a little bit of water. And if you buy the milk, you don't have to use any other liquid to thin it out. And these both are vegan options. You can use, obviously, heavy cream to make the whipped cream option, but today, because most Asians and me, I'm lactose intolerant and I can't really drink milk, so I'm using coconut milk today. So the coconut milk, there should be 2 layers, so don't actually shake it before you open it, because we're actually going to take out the top layer after we open it and put it in the fridge and use the bottom layer to melt our chocolate. So yes, It is a chocolate recipe that we're doing today. So I have dark chocolate. You can use chocolate chips. You can also use chocolate powder, cocoa powder, and I'll show you how to do it both ways. So this is just some cocoa powder that you can use, you can buy in any grocery store, usually in the baking section. And you can also, if you don't have cocoa powder or chocolate chips, you can just use like a hot chocolate mix that you have at home. And those usually have a lot more sugar in them, so I try to tend not to buy any hot chocolate mix and just use cocoa powder or a dark chocolate, okay? And then avocados are also very important, and these are, you know, you can buy avocados that are green and it'll last a lot longer. If you put them with some other fruits like bananas or kiwi, they actually have this hormone inside, and they can actually talk to each other to make them get ripe a little bit faster. So if you put other fruits and vegetables, or mostly this is a fruit, so fruits together, they actually ripen a little faster and they turn black, and then you'll see that it turns also a little bit more soft. And that's when you know you should put it in the fridge and it's ready to use. So avocados are great for this recipe, and we're going to use these to make a chocolate mousse from scratch. All right, so thanks for joining us today. What we need for equipment is we need a mixing bowl. Okay, if you have a whisk, go ahead and get your whisk out. I have an electric whisk, so it just kind of makes the process a little bit faster. And then I have some Ziploc bags here. I mean, you don't have to use Ziploc bags. I just love the convenience of it because the coconut mousse, you can actually mix it all in here and then snip the little corner and then use this as a piping bag later on for our parfaits. So yes, I'm going to make a parfait from the coconut mousse and the coconut whipped cream and the chocolate mousse that we're going to make. So parfaits, you would need maybe like your favorite dried fruits or fresh fruits, and you can cut them into small pieces, or you don't even need fruits. What I have chosen today is a granola that True Nosh makes, so you can find this on our website. I don't use any sugar in my products, and it's also all gluten-free too. So feel free to choose your favorite granola from the grocery store. Or what else you can use is toasted nuts or seeds. You can just toast them in the oven or in a pan for about 5 minutes. They get golden brown and a little bit more crunchy, and you can use those to top off your parfait or use them as layers in your afternoon dessert. Okay, does that sound good? We're going to start making some chocolate mousse now, okay? But before that, let's open our cans of coconut milk. I haven't opened them because I want to do this as a step-by-step process and give everybody enough time to start cooking with me at home. So I'm going to use the coconut milk today, and let me just open that up. And be careful, I said not to shake it, right? Because there's 2 layers, and we actually want those 2 layers to be separate. Okay, so after we open them, I'm going to scoop the top layer off and put it in my mixing bowl. And I'm going to put it in the fridge. So the colder the cream on top of the coconut milk, the better it makes a mousse, okay? So that's something that it's kind of a tip for those of you who like to make whipped cream, is the colder it is, the better it is to form a cream. Okay, so scrape that off and get your spoon, and you're going to slowly get the top layer off, and it's usually a bit more solidified, right? A little bit more chunky. So you want to carefully scoop the top off of your cream. okay, and then put it in your mixing bowl, okay. Don't worry if you get a little bit of the liquid underneath it, it's fine. You just want to get as much of the solid off of the top as possible, okay? Oh, I do have, that's okay. All right, so take your time to do this, and once you get to the point where there's a little bit more liquid than the solid, then it's time to stop, okay? Let me see. So only the more denser part gets whipped into cream, and the more liquidy part we're actually going to use to melt our chocolate. All right. I think that's about it. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to show you how much I have. I have about a cup of this lovely creamy top part of the coconut milk. And now I'm going to put this in the fridge while we make the the avocado coconut chocolate mousse, okay? So let me come back. All right, so now our coconut cream is in the fridge. We can go and start talking about our chocolate mousse. So I chose a dark chocolate. You can use whatever chocolate that you want, obviously. These are for baking, so I actually need some time to chop them all up. So those of you who have chocolate chips, you get the benefit of just watching me chop dark chocolate. Okay, so you need about a quarter cup. If you want more chocolatey taste, you can do about 1 cup. It's fine. So the more chocolate you put in this, it's just going to be a little bit more dense. You can also whip it out later too if you have a mixing bowl. It's up to you. And if you have chocolate powder or cocoa powder, you don't need to melt your chocolate. And I'll show you how to do that also in this recipe. So just rough chop your chocolate chips, okay? And then you want to get like a skillet like this and add the rest of your coconut liquid in here, okay? All right, so we're using 1 can of coconut milk, and the liquidy part we're going to put on the stove and put it on very low heat, okay? We don't want to scorch your chocolate. We just want to melt it. All right, so put it on really low heat, okay? And then you're going to pour in your chocolate chips or your chocolate chunks, and you're just going to let it melt. And the whole chocolate cream is going to be like a chocolate ganache, which is exactly what we're making. A ganache is usually heavy cream and chocolate in equal parts, but today we're using coconut cream. And those who are lactose intolerant will be amazed at how yummy this tastes, okay? So let's watch it melt, and then once it's melted, then you want to take it off the heat, and you don't want to let it keep cooking, okay? So slowly, you're just going to stir this chocolate in. You do want to keep an eye on it just to make sure that it's not too hot, okay? So make sure it's not too hot, and then you want to make sure you get some clean bags, okay? Oh, hi Max, how are you doing? Okay, so if you can actually rewind this video if you're just joining us and watch from the beginning, and you can catch up. So this video will be on our website, you know, from today onwards. So if you want, I can talk about it again. So let's talk about the coconut milk. So we're using coconut milk today, and don't shake it before you open it. you want to skim off the first half of the coconut cream. That cream is a little bit more solidified, and then you want to put it in a mixing bowl, which I have, and it's in the fridge. So the first half, which is more solid and more chunky, that part you're actually going to put in the fridge for now. And then the bottom part is more liquidy, and which is what we've added to our skillet with about 1/4 cup of dark chocolate. So whatever chocolate you want to use, it's chocolate chips or chocolate chunks that I've cut using a baking chocolate cube. You can just cut it into smaller portions and it will be easier to melt, okay? And you want to melt it over very, very low heat because the chocolate can seize and it won't melt. So you want to keep an eye on your pan and stir it occasionally, and once it's melted, then you just want to take it off the heat and you want to continue to cook it, okay? So it shouldn't take very, very long. Once the coconut milk heats up, it should melt the chocolate really quickly, right? So it should take about only 5 to 8 minutes for it to melt. Okay, so as you can see, it's already starting to turn the coconut milk into a chocolate milk. Okay. Okay, so it should be another 2 minutes before all my chocolate has melted, and you're going to turn off the heat and take it off your burner. Okay. All right, so it shouldn't, I'm going to rest this guy here for now. It's very low heat, so it shouldn't matter. And then now we're going to talk about our avocados. So you can buy green avocados and put them with the rest of your fruit bowl, and it should ripen up a little bit faster because the fruits have hormones that talk to each other. Once it turns black and you know a little bit more soft than you bought it at the store, then you can take it out of the fruit bowl and put it in the fridge, and it'll last a lot longer in the fridge once it's not with other fruits, okay? So I chose these ones. You can see that the tip is still intact, and you want to just kind of prick off the little top, and you'll see that the middle is sort of black and quite soft. This is when you know that your avocados are in the perfect shape form to make the avocado mousse. If you have unripe avocados, it's a bit harder to use to create the mousse, but you can still do it. All right, so I'm just going to cut my avocados open and turn it. And these are so beautiful. I'm going to get the seed out by hitting it very, very softly with the sharp end of my knife and just twist it, and it should come out quite easily. So the seed you can keep to grow your avocado plant, or actually you can actually blend it in your smoothies as well. So a lot of people like to blend their seeds into a smoothie, and there should be some recipes out there on YouTube, and you can go and look for smoothie recipes with the avocado seed. So once again, cut it in half. Your sharp side, just gently tap into the middle and twist, and the seed should come out really easily. Okay, so I'm going to keep that in my coconut milk container and get a good wash. So these are beautiful avocados. Let me check on the chocolate. It is almost entirely melted. Okay, so now I'm going to turn off the heat, and you can see that I have a really nice chocolate ganache. that's ready to be mixed into my avocados. All right, so I'm gonna let this sit a little bit on the side just to cool it down before I mix the avocado mousse, and I'm gonna show you how to do the mousse with just cocoa powder also, okay? So one avocado I'll use for the cocoa powder, and then the other avocado I'll use for the melted chocolate. All right, so I'm gonna scoop out one avocado into my bag. You don't have to use a bag if you don't have one. You can use a mixing bowl and just whip it with a whisk. But the bag provides a perfect piping bag for me to squeeze out the mousse later. Okay, so if you have sugar at home, you can go ahead and add about 2 tablespoons of sugar in here. Since I'm the queen of cooking without sugar, I'm going to opt out in that way. And because I'm adding some dried fruits into my parfait later, it's going to just naturally sweeten my dessert. All right, so I have some really nice Ziploc bags here. Make sure it's clean before you put it on. And then I'm going to put in about a 1/4 cup of cocoa powder, okay? So let me just get that. And put it in my bag. Okay, so as I said, if you like sugar, you would add about 2 tablespoons in here. Close the bag, and you're going to just start smushing your avocados into a really nice consistency that you can make into a mousse later. So if it's a little bit dry, you can add in a little bit of coconut milk, whipped cream that you were going to make later, and it's going to make it a little bit fluffier, okay? All right, so this is the way to do it with cocoa powder or hot chocolate mix. This is a great way to have cooked chocolate mousse really quickly, or chocolate cream really quickly. If you're vegan, this is a great option. And avocados are super lovely fruits, okay? All right, so this is also fun to do with kids at home, and you don't have to worry about a mess later on because the mess is contained in a bag already, right? So in order to make all the avocados mash, you want to kind of flatten it, and then you know, make sure that there's no chunks inside. You can also roll the whole thing with a rolling pin to make sure that all the avocados have been smushed. Okay, so this is ready to be used in our avocado mousse as the bottom of our parfait. And then as you can see how great this bag comes in handy as a piping bag later for our parfait cups. So I have some glass cups like this. You can use whatever cups you want to present your avocado mousse. That will look pretty for your afternoon snack, right? Okay. And then the whole bag can be put into the fridge. Also, if you want to make this ahead of time, you can do so. And then when you are about to use it, because the avocados get a little bit hard in the fridge, you want to take it out at least half an hour earlier to warm it up and make sure that it'll squeeze out properly, okay? All right. So this is all done, and we're going to put this aside, and we're going to take a look at our melted chocolate. All right, so we have some melted chocolate, about a 1/4 cup of dark chocolate with half a can of the more liquidy part of the coconut milk. We've melted this over really, really low heat, and I allowed this to cool for about 5 minutes. Actually, if you allow it to cool a little bit more, it will get even fluffier. So you can put it in the fridge also before you do this part. Okay. So those of you who have a blender or a food processor, you can now take that out. You can also mush it with a potato masher also if you have one of these, but I have a handy food processor. So I'm just going to scoop out my other avocado and put it in my food processor. And you can also do this with your cocoa powder, right, if you have a food processor. And I like to use some dried fruits to sweeten whenever I need to sweeten anything. So I will add a little bit of dates to this mixture to give it a little bit of sweetness, and a little pinch of sea salt. So sea salt actually elevates the sweetness of any type of fruits. Usually it actually brings out the sweetness of the dessert, so you don't have to add so much sugar into the foods that you make. All right, so I'm going to get all that goodness into my food processor. My hands have a little bit of avocado in it. I'm just going to wash my hands really quickly. Okay, so now we have some avocados. I'm going to use a little bit of dates. So it depends on how sweet you want your avocado mousse. And as I said, if you're going to make a parfait with some really sweet seasonal fruits, you can definitely opt out of the sweetening of the avocado mousse and just rely on the sweet fruits or the dried fruits to sweeten your parfait afterwards, okay? So to mine, I'm going to add 6 dates. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are Diglett Noir dates. You can buy them at Costco or T&T or Save on Food. They're the smaller version of, well, smaller species of dates. So they're not medjool dates, and I don't recommend buying medjool dates for people who are trying to stay away from sugar and try to balance their blood sugars out. So those are who are pre-diabetic or diabetic or who are trying to prevent diabetes. These dates are a little bit less sweet and more fibrous-y, so they're a little bit more healthy than the medjool dates. Not that dates are unhealthy, but they do have a certain amount of sugar in them. So if you are tending to like to stay away from sugar or to not eat too much sweets, then you would go with these ones, the Diglett Noir over the medjool dates, right? Okay, so I have 6 dates in here and 1 whole avocado, okay? And then now I'm gonna pour in a little bit, so half of my chocolate ganache into my into my mixer, okay? So we're gonna do this slowly, one at a time, and just be careful of your mixer and make sure that it's entirely closed. I love these handheld blenders, but if you have like a blender, like a Magic Bullet or a Vitamix, go ahead and use that. Here we go. I'm going to turn it on to low, and then on this round, we're just going to break up the dates, okay? And those of you who are joining us later, feel free to write in the comments. I can't really see everybody's right now, but after the class, I will go one by one with the comments and answer your questions, okay? And then you can also email me afterwards or message me on Facebook. My email is info@truenosh.com. Just gonna check out my mousse. So it looks pretty much like a mousse already. I'm gonna add in the rest of the chocolate ganache, and that will get incorporated in very nicely. Just gonna get a rubber spatula to get all of the goodness out of here. From here. Okay. Perfect. See how clean that is? I love it when that happens. All right, so we're gonna scrape the sides of your blender or food processor. Just make sure that all of the avocados get blended in. Into this nice mixture. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit more liquidy than your cocoa powder one, but that's fine because we're making coconut whipped cream, right? So we're going to put the whipped cream in this and make that into a mousse. So don't worry. But after all of the ingredients have been pulsed and mixed, we're going to put this in the fridge so then the whipped cream won't fall. All right, so that was pretty easy. There you go. Our coconut mousse is done. We're going to clean off the top of our food processor. Make sure that you get all the goodness in there. And then this whole mixture will be put into the fridge, and we'll bring it out after we finish making the coconut whipped cream. Okay, dokie. So I'm just going to put the whole thing in the fridge. And we'll return to this mixture after we get our coconut cream out of the fridge. All right, so I'm going to just interchange the coconut whipped cream with this guy. Okay. So your coconut cream has been in the fridge for about, I think, like 5 to 8 minutes. That wasn't a long process with making the ganache. It is a bit harder in the fridge, and that's a good thing. All right, so right now you can add your sugar or your powdered sugar in here if you're going to make your whipped cream sweet. For me, I'm just going to whip my coconut cream like this without any sugar. You can drizzle also a little bit of honey in here also if you like that. And date paste actually works also. But whip the cream first. So the colder the coconut cream is, the better that it will form a whipped cream. So you can use your arm muscles if you just have a regular whisk. That will work just as well as a electric whisk. And make sure you have a big bowl like this so it doesn't splatter all over the place, okay? All right, so I'm going to start in a slower setting, and then I'm going to increase it to a little bit faster, and this should be fun. Okay. is about halfway done, our whipped cream. I need to do this for another 5 to 8 minutes. All right, so we have whipped cream, which is kind of cool. All right, so then we're going to take our chocolate ganache out, our chocolate avocado mixture out. And we're going to get a clean mixing bowl because we're going to scoop out a little bit of our coconut whipped cream and add it into our chocolate mixture, okay? So let me go get a nice mixing bowl. Doesn't have to be too clean. And then our avocado chocolate with some dates in here. And if you want to add a pinch of salt, you can do that. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab a little pinch of salt. And you can also just mix it in the blender over here. Okay. And then you want to put the chocolate mixture into your mixing bowl. All of it goes in here. All that goodness is in the mixing bowl now. And then I'm going to add about half of that whipped cream in here with a clean spoon because we're going to save half of it for garnishing the top, right? So see how pretty that whipped cream is? And we're going to plop it into our ganache mixture slowly. So I added about 5 tablespoons, right? Oh, sorry, 3 tablespoons, and I'm going to fold it slowly into the chocolate ganache mixture, okay? So you don't want to be too rough and vigorous with this mixing process. So we're just folding it really, really gently. And once all the cream is folded in, now we're going to add another 3 more tablespoons. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so the whole mixture should be about 6 tablespoons of whipped cream. And then you can start getting your display cups if you are serving guests, or if you're just serving yourself, get the biggest cup that you want to. And find some fruits or dried fruits that you want to use in your parfait. So this is the avocado mousse with the coconut whipped cream that I've created. And then you can get some maybe apples and kiwis or fresh strawberries or blueberries. I have some kiwi here that I've got. These are the New Zealand Sesame kiwis. You can also just dice up some dried dates and get some nuts if you have. I'll actually eat the skin of my kiwi. That's actually very good, I think. So we're going to cut them into beautiful slices, and that will be used for our garnishing of our parfait. So choose your glass or your bowl. You can do a nice afternoon bowl with your chocolate mousse and coconut whipped cream. So I cut a little bit of kiwi over here. I'm going to get my beautiful glasses that I have. And we can start by layering a little bit of chocolate mousse in here. I'm going to use a nice spoon. And then if you have a bag, as I said, you can put it in the piping bag and pipe it into the cup. But this works just as well. So the avocado mousse goes in the bottom. And then you can add your favorite fruits in the middle, like that. And then I have some True Nosh granola. So we have goji berries, pumpkin seeds, flax seeds, gluten-free oats in here, all baked with some cinnamon. I'm going to put that in the middle so we get a little surprise when we eat our parfait. Okay. Yeah, so I get your favorite nuts or seeds or granola, put them in the middle. I'm going to add a little bit more fruit because I love fruit. And if it's nicely placed along the side of the cup, you can see the fruit from the outside of the glass, okay? And just kind of press it towards the outside of the glass so it shows up really beautifully. Okay, so now you can add another layer of chocolate in the middle. Okay, and then we're going to top it off with our coconut whipped cream. So just a really nice dollop of whipped cream on top. Look really beautiful. And then what else you can do, you can sprinkle a little bit more of your granola on top. Or you can dust this guy with a little bit of cocoa powder if you have it. You can use a nice spoon, or you can just grab a little bit with your fingertips and just sprinkle it slightly on top. Okay, so here we have a nice chocolate parfait. So I'm going to go ahead and make 3 more. And if those of you who are whisking with a arm whisk, go ahead and keep whisking your coconut cream. The cream should last about a day in your fridge, and it might deflate. You can actually whisk it again the next day and it will be good. So let me just take a look and see if anybody has any questions. Okay, nope. We think we answered everybody's questions here. I'm going to do 2 more parfaits because I have a lot of my chocolate pudding. Hi Tree, how are you? See that you're watching. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm so happy that you guys took some time out of your Sundays. All right, so some mousse, and we're going to add some fruits to the side of our glass. And then I'm going to add in a handful of nuts or granola or toasted seeds or dried fruits to our parfait. Okay, and then top it up with another layer of chocolate mousse. Okay, and the very top we've reserved for our coconut whipped cream. So we're going to add that to the top just to create a really nice color profile for our presentation today. And then a sprinkle of cocoa powder goes on top. You don't have to sprinkle cocoa powder. Some people love cinnamon or even some chili powder. That will actually make your parfaits spicy, right? So that's kind of exciting that you can do that. So today's avocado recipe will give you about 4 of these a 6-ounce glass servings of mousse. If you add granola or fruits and other dried toasted seeds in it, it can make even more. But it depends on how many people you're serving, and these parfaits can be kept in the fridge also for a few days, so you can save them all for yourself. And just go into the fridge and grab one when you feel like it, right? Okay, so you get a little bit more granola. And once again, after this cooking segment, we have Nicole. She is an amazing yoga teacher. We used to have her teach restorative yoga at the True Nosh studio. Now, obviously, we don't have that because of COVID, but we have collaborated today to give you a cooking and yoga on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. So I'd like to thank her for being here as my guest. And when we can meet again, we'd love to do in-person collaborations. Okay, so the whipped cream just perfectly gets 3 of these guys. And those of you who are watching, yes, we are taking donations for our cooking classes that we do every Sunday on Facebook Live. So if you're in Canada, you can feel free to e-transfer your donation to truenosh@gmail.com. And in the notes, you can write which date you viewed. So today is May 24th, right? Am I right? Or you can just write the title of the class. So today is chocolate mousse class with yoga, and we appreciate any support in the community that views our cooking classes online to help small companies like me survive in this situation that we have here. We can definitely see the end of the tunnel. The light is getting brighter, and I hope you guys enjoyed the chocolate mousse presentation today, and we get you guys to come a little bit closer and see what I've done with the chocolate mousse. All right, so here you go. And I am going to put this in the fridge because right now we have Nicole. She's going to be jumping on live again after I end this session. So just stay on the True Nosh Company's page, or you can also follow LeClaire Wellness, LECLAIR space wellness on Facebook to take her beautiful online yoga classes. So I'm going to take last minute questions. So if you guys want to write anything on the comments, you can do so, or you can also email me at info@truenosh.com, and feel free to check out our website for more recipes. And I wish you guys have a lovely afternoon and a beautiful yoga session. I'm actually going to do yoga also with Nicole after this, and come back and enjoy my chocolate and coconut avocado mousses. Mousses, I think that's the plural form. But anyways, enjoy, and please join me again next week. We're doing gluten-free fruit tarts with coconut chia seed pudding, and that would be also followed by a yoga class by me, and then hopefully Nicole will be joining us again in June for some collaboration classes with me and yoga after the cooking class. Okay, so Nicole, I'm going to give this live screen to you. I'm going to end it right here, and then she's going to come back live in a separate screen, but stay on the True Nosh Company page too, and she'll be teaching right after I sign out. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again.